Hi, it's Mary Kay from Country Music Matters, and we welcome the very talented, lovely Ayla Brown.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Welcome to CMA Fest 2016. Is this
Thank
your
you.
first CMA Fest?
It is not. It is my fourth or fifth.
Wow.
They're all starting to run together.
You're a seasoned veteran.
I'm a veteran, but it's changed a little bit over the past number of years, from the venues to the amount of artists and stuff. So, but every year it's exciting. You know, you get to see new up and coming people and hear them and see how country music has obviously changed a little bit.
Now, have you ever been here as a fan?
No. The first time I came here, I worked with GAC as a correspondent, and I got to interview like Blake Shelton, and we went through fanfare and spoke to people, and it was just like, is this really my first time? Like, very different than probably most people, but no, that was my first time, and that was about 5 or 6 years ago.
Now, when you were on Idol in 2006,
Yes.
which seems like long ago, but yesterday, doesn't it?
Yes.
Kind of like, and that led you to being a correspondent on the early show?
So when I was on Idol, I was 17. It was my first time singing with a band, and when I got eliminated from the show, I actually had a basketball scholarship to my dream school of Boston College. So I went and played 4 years of college basketball. But when I was a senior in college, my father, Scott Brown, won the United States Senate seat in Massachusetts. And it was an historic upset. And the night of the election, he said that both of his daughters were available. I was one of his daughters. And it was crazy. Like, every news outlet wanted me to come and like talk about the comments and stuff. And one of the shows was the early show on CBS. So I got to perform a song, talk with the anchors on the couch. And after the executive producer called me into his office and said, I loved your song, but I loved your interaction with our hosts even better. I want to offer you a job as a correspondent for us, for the early show. You can do stories about music and kids and fun pieces, and bring kind of like a younger demographic into our viewership. And so I worked with them for 2 years, and yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought? I mean, my mom has been a reporter for about 30 years, so it's kind of run in the family a little bit. Like, when I was growing up, I always thought I would take after my mom in some way, but little did I know it would actually happen.
Where did all the music come from?
My dad says he can sing, and he can definitely hold a tune, but it's not very like outward of a type of singing. But he would sing to my mom's tummy every day from the day that they found out that they were pregnant, and he says that that's the reason I can sing. And maybe it is in a weird way, you know, like if you eat broccoli every day when you're pregnant, like maybe the kid will like broccoli. Maybe it's the same thing with music. I don't know.
And you write your own songs?
I do. So my most recent release, called Let Love In, it's a 13-song album. I co-wrote or wrote all the songs on it. So I do love to write, and being an independent artist, you can kind of take liberty as to what songs speak to you the most and put them on a CD.
Who were some of the co-writers?
Well, I had Phil Barton, Emily Shackleton. Let's see, I wrote some of them by myself, as I said. Eric Halbig wrote the single called Let Love In with me, and a lot of people that I've met in town. Like,
Now, do you live here in Nashville?
Mm-hmm. I've been here for 5 years.
Now, do you have a record label? Did you get a label?
I don't
or you just came here?
I just came here. I packed up my Jeep and I drove 26 hours from Massachusetts, and here I am. I still haven't driven back up there. I'm like, that's the first and last time I'm ever doing that. But no, when I first moved to town, I took a lot of meetings and I got offered a deal. But I felt like it was too soon. It was in the first 2 weeks that I moved here. And something just didn't sit right with me. And so I said, you know what, I want to be a sponge. I want to ask people their advice and write with as many people as possible and kind of do it the old-fashioned hard work way. And I'm glad I did. I think at the end of the day, though, like, I always think, well, what's the next step? You know, is it going to be the record deal someday again? I don't know. We'll see. But I'm happy.
Now, some of the people that have influenced you, or have you watched through the years, or maybe performed with, what do you take away from them? What education do you get from them?
That's a great question. So, I love every type of show that I go to as a viewer, because I see them, whoever the performer is, doing what they love, and I just like take little bits and pieces of what they do, and I say, ooh, that would be fun to add in a show. So for example, I see people like Josh Turner who can stand there with an acoustic guitar and sing, and it's jaw-dropping, and you're like, okay, I could do that with just like a moment in a show where it's just you and a guitar. Or, you know, this is going to sound completely absurd, but like my first ever concert was Ricky Martin when I was in 6th grade. And like, you're going to take a few different things from a show like that where it's all about the dancing and the production. And so I think over the years you just take little bits of and pieces of these true professionals, and you're like, what can I learn today? How can I be better?
Now, you've been known to be the national anthem queen. I find that kind of funny, but it's an honor.
It's such an honor.
How do you, they say it's a very tough song. It's always been known to be the toughest song. How do you get yourself in that mind frame to make sure you do it proud?
I make sure that I don't start too high, because that can just be like a buzzkill in so many ways. And you're like, oh my gosh, I started way too high. But every time I do sing it, I feel a sense of pride because I'm singing for my country. And I love our national anthem. I love where I come from, and I do a ton of work for the troops and those overseas. I'm going on one Middle East tour for July 4th, and then in August I'm going to Europe to do stuff for the troops. And at the end of the day, like, that's what it's all about for me.
Now, are your trips in conjunction with Concerned Veterans for America?
My tour is that I'm on right now, so it's a 20-date tour with Concerned Veterans for America. It's called the Defend Freedom Tour. We go all around the country putting on free shows for veterans, military families, and people who care about the direction of our country. But when I go overseas, that's in conjunction with Armed Forces Entertainment. And so I put on shows for them in the craziest of places. Some of them don't even have like drinkable water. They have to have water flown in. Like, went to Turkey last year, and 3 miles from the Syrian border, and where their only mission is to protect Turkey from missiles that could possibly come over. And you're like, holy mackerel, I'm on the top of this crazy hot mountain doing what I love for people that I love. You know, it's kind of a crazy moment.
Now, what led you to become involved with Concerned Veterans?
I released a patriotic CD in 2012 called Heroes and Hometowns, and literally it opened up so many doors that I did not expect, from doing the Opry to getting asked to do this tour with Concerned Veterans for America. Like, they knew that I was very patriotic, and I come from a patriotic family, and so it was kind of a great match.
So the Opry moment.
Yeah.
Is that as exciting and as they say it is?
It happens so fast, but yeah, it's definitely really exciting. Like, you finish your 2 songs, and you're like, well, wait, that's it? Like, give me 2 more. Let's do 4 total. But
It's kind of like what you said earlier. Who would have ever thought?
no.
When you talked about your job with the early show, and now you had your Opry,
Yeah.
who would have ever thought?
Who would have ever thought?
Now, you've taken a very brave stepping stone, and you have your own record company,
Yeah.
Ambient Entertainment.
Correct. I started it because I was kind of sick of waiting on other people. And at the end of the day, in order to do what I love as an independent artist, you have to put yourself out there and make content available for those who support you. And so I don't care if that's 20 people or 20,000 people. Like, I wanted to put music out there that people could support me with and help me pay my bills.
Now, have you played at the Bluebird?
I have.
And how was that?
I will tell you a funny story. The first time I ever went to the Bluebird, I did a story on it with the early show. And so I got to interview, I don't even remember who I interviewed, but it was really cool because they kind of like put me in the open mic night. And I don't think anyone there knew I could sing. They were probably just like, oh yeah, this correspondent wants to like get up and do a song. Okay, we'll put her name in the hat. And then I get up there and everyone's like, oh, she actually sings. Oh man. So then they had me come back for a private event at the Bluebird for some GOP thing that was happening in Tennessee. And I do like the Bluebird. It's so much smaller than I ever would have imagined when you hear about it. And to people like traveling into town, they're like, "Oh, where's the Bluebird? Is it downtown?" It's like, nope, it's really kind of on the outskirts of town, and it's probably not what you think it is. It's like a tiny room with benches and.
TV always makes it look bigger. You know,
Yes,
that's
it
how they
does.
do. Just like they make a person look bigger on TV.
I know. What's up with that? We gotta fix that ASAP. I hate it.
So what's going on now for the rest of the year and into your future?
Doing the stuff for the troops, which, as I said, is really important. And in the future, my goal is to wake up every morning and continue to be happy doing what I'm doing, even if it's an untraditional, unconventional route from what other people in Nashville are doing. That's okay with me. I'm trying to kind of pave my own path and see what happens.
So where can fans find all this information about you, Miss Ayla Brown?
They can go to aylabrown.com. They can find me on pretty much any social media platform. And of course, if you don't mind, just download a song. If you like it, download 2 more, and then maybe you'll be a fan for life.
You have a busy CMA Fest?
I'm actually heading off to Reno tonight in Vegas. We have 2 shows tomorrow and Saturday. So this is my only day of CMA fun. But when you've done it for 5 years, it's kind of like, all right. I'm happy to be here, though. Thank you for having me on.
Oh,
today.
thank you, Ayla Brown.